What is lens distortion? In a nutshell, it's when a lens produces curved lines where straight lines should be. The two most common types of lens distortion are barrel distortion and pincushion distortion. Lens distortion graphic. Barrel distortion is where straight lines bend outward from the center of the image. Wide-angle prime lenses such as a 20mm lens or zoom lenses like my Nikon 24-70mm shot at its wide and typically produce images with barrel distortion because they have a wide field of view. You will most often notice distortion in architectural images where the lines of the buildings bow outward, away from the center of the image. In portraits, it can make subjects look pudgy or large-headed in comparison to the rest of their body. Here's an architectural image I took in Barcelona last summer. If you look closely at the pillars in the first one, they are slanted. The second image is after the distortion was corrected in Lightroom. You will notice the pillars are straightened in the second image.
This footage, I gotta be honest, I couldn't deny that I did see some curvature. That was naturally quite frustrating for us, but Victor, while not being a flat earther, was frustrated for a different reason. Like us, he questioned the footage just as we did, but for a different reason. He saw sometimes that it was curved and sometimes it was flat. There did appear to be some distortion. Now, if you recall, the whole reason we all decided on the 7.2mm lens was because it was not a fisheye lens, and it was supposed to be the closest lens available for a GoPro that would be the closest to the human eye. Now, while we still believe it is the best and closest lens that you can get for a GoPro to the human eye, it still does have some barrel distortion to it. And here's a clip from a test Victor did with the lens shortly after posting the raw footage to his YouTube channel.
I had a quick update to provide to you guys regarding whether or not or how much distortion is in the 7.2mm lens. Just to give you a really quick understanding, every single lens in existence has some measure of distortion. It's not, extreme with rectilinear lenses as it is with fisheye lenses, but it's still there. There is slight distortion. Now, I'll be honest, I did not expect there to be as much distortion in the rectilinear lens that's been in the 7.2 since I started doing some more tests on it. When I initially looked at the photos on the website and talked to the guy that I ordered it from Rage Cams, he was really friendly, and he assured me that it had the least amount of distortion in comparison to all the other GoPro lenses. So I had this discussion with Rob already a little bit about how pretty much every lens has some form of distortion or some amount of distortion. But the nice thing with rectilinear lenses is it's very correctable. And I kind of wanted to show you guys how that looks. So, in general, lenses distort. There's what's called barrel distortion. And barrel distortion occurs like a barrel kind of in the center of the lens and causes things to bulge just like a fisheye lens does. So I wanted to show you here. You can see there's a slight curve with this, this tube here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to rotate both layers. I have two layers. I've corrected and uncorrected. And so I'm going to rotate this a little bit just so you can kind of see and get an idea of what this is going to end up looking like. Basically how much distortion's there. So that's pretty good there. So this is with distortion. As you see, it's bulged slightly in the middle. And I'm going to turn off, basically what I did is I went through this process here. This is where you take the camera, and I did this in video mode just so I know it would apply to the video well, because sometimes the aspect ratio shifts and that sort of thing between video and photos. So what I did is I went through here, I had this software, Adobe Lens Profile Creator, create a profile for the 7.2 rectilinear GoPro lens. And so we created that profile, and it tracked those points, and it detected, obviously any form of distortion or geometric distortion, chromatic aberration distortion, and vignetting as it as it could in the lens, any and all. And so this is what I came up with. This carbon fiber rod I have here was from a drone build actually 2 years ago, or 3 years ago actually, 2014. So this is a 32 millimeter carbon fiber rod, pretty good sized carbon fiber rod, and it's very straight. I got it from Rockwest Composites, and their tolerances it's better than a ruler. So that is with correction there. So I'll show you without correction. See, there's slight distortion. That's with correction. So there is some distortion there. It's not a ton, but it's enough that it does need correcting.
Now let me just say that no correction has been made to this video. I'm just showing you the raw footage as it was given to me by Victor. He has also not corrected any of this footage. But what are we to make of it? Well, again, as I said in the interview I did before our first launch, I'm under no delusion that this test is going to prove anything to anybody. I mean, people are going to argue for both sides either way. So I will say I do see a very slight curve, but between the barrel distortion of the camera lens and the clouds, honestly, it's hard to tell what the true horizon really is. So at this point, look, I'm content that we busted Mythbusters and we showed the true differences between what is seen with a fisheye lens versus what is seen with a non-fisheye lens. Everything else is obviously going to be debated for eternity by both flat earthers and ballers in the comment section below, so let's just go ahead and get back to our adventure.